Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is LowFit. I do educational content like this, tips, like guides, and opposition reports where I go over how to beat certain types of champions. Now, I'm going to go over one of my absolute favorite champions that I think so many people need to start picking up because he is a low-key sleeper, particularly in lower elos. Veigar. Now, he is one of my most played champions at around 400,000 mastery, 500,000 mastery. I'm not even 100% sure over a couple different accounts. So these tips are going to be a little bit different. They're not just going to be the standard cookie cutter stuff that you're going to see a lot online. So make sure to stick around to the end. And if you guys have any direct questions for me, you can either comment down on the video. I'm going to put a Discord in the description if you want to just kind of chat with me live. And also, I'm going to put a Twitter link if any of you guys use Twitter. I'm not the biggest Twitter guy, and I don't really tweet that much, so that'd probably be better to contact me on either Discord or the comment section. So, without further ado, let's just jump into the first tip. Now, this is just going to be a general tip from when you're getting dodged out a lot and you're getting a cage on an opponent. The most effective way when you're missing a lot of Qs and Ws when people are inside your cage is to throw it in the middle and to cover as much space as possible. For example, right there, because people will generally stay away from the edges because they're not 100% sure on what the stun range is with these weirder graphics. So you're going to hit a lot more of them if you're throwing your Q and W just into the center of it. There's obviously going to be some people that are just going to stick on the edges to dodge, but as a general rule of thumb, if you don't have any idea where they're going to go and they've been dodging the shit out of you, just throw shit in the middle, and I think that that will be the best way to go about landing your skill shots. So that will wrap up number one. All right, let's just jump right into number two. Now, this is not really going to be anything micro. It's a little bit more about your decision making when you're playing Veigar. I think that a lot of people underestimate the power of Veigar catches, and when you are ahead, I am a huge believer that you should have some type of item that's going to increase your catch potential and to quickly snowball the game out of control and to just continually getting your E catches. Now, whether this be a movement speed item like Spellbinder's Orb, or fucking Righteous Glory, or Hextech GLP to enable your to get a slow to get a good stun up. I think the best way to continue a snowball on Veigar, because he's not extremely reliant on his items for damage. He has a great amount of base damage from his passive. You could really just increase his, you just shore up some of his weaknesses in his catch potential and how slow of a champion he is, and augmenting it with items. I know GLP is kind of a little bit off meta, but there are a bunch of things that you could do. Whether it is a rune that's like something like celerity, or there's a bunch of different options, but I think that when you're ahead, you should try and focus on at least one item that's going to increase your catch potential. Even if it's just going red trinket and sitting in bushes for catches, there needs to be one item that you're going to do when you're snowballing that is going to increase your catch potential. Now, when you are behind, it really isn't that important because a lot of the fights will come to you. They'll generally be trying to engage because they have the gold advantage. So it's really not that important to have any kind of movement speed or any kind of catch items, because they're generally just going to be jumping at you and you can just throw cages on where they're going. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you really want to snowball, I can't really recommend this item more because you know exactly when you're going to be throwing out a lot of bursts, and I think Spellbinder is really a great way to accomplish that with the base movement speed, a high ability power number, and the on use when you're throwing out your combo with your ult to guarantee that one shot on maybe the one person doing well on their team. So that will wrap up number two. Alright, let's just jump right into number three. Now, this is going to be a little bit different, a little bit smaller of a thing. It isn't going to be have a huge impact on your play, but usually what I say is I think you're going to land about 5 to 10% more W's when you're using the Omega Squad Veigar skin, because it has very minimal audio cue when you use it, and this reticule is extremely easily hidden when you are in team fights just by animations from other spells and large champions. Like when you place that reticule under something small, it's extremely hard to see. So really, if you're super serious about Veigar, I can't recommend the Omega Squad Veigar skin more. It does seem a little bit pay to play. It's just a little bit harder to see, and you're going to catch a few more W's. Is it the biggest thing? Is it the most life-shattering tip that's going to help you just start destroying on Veigar. Absolutely not, and you should not buy it with that type of assumption. But this might be a placebo effect, but I personally think that when I'm on my Omega Squad Veigar skin, I am going to be landing a lot more W's, just because it's harder for the it gives them less time to respond to the ability, just because it's a little bit harder to detect. All right, and let's get right into number 4. Now, this is the biggest tip I think I can possibly give anyone that is looking to climb in this meta in particular, because what we're seeing a lot in this meta are a lot of mobility out of the mid and top with a decent amount of damage. Generally being a lot of assassins are being played right now. Things like Talon have a lot of prevalence, and then in the top lane we're seeing a lot of bruisers with mobility. So the kind of thing that you have to keep in mind with those type of champions are you're going to very heavily outscale them in the late game, but they have the tools they need to snowball and destroy you in the early and mid game. So what you want to do on Veigar is try and shore up your weaknesses as much as possible on Veigar, whether this is a resolve tree secondary, whether it's running really defensive items, like say you're up against a Fizz, Banshees is going to be a great asset for you, and just try and be defensive and safe as possible when you're scaling, and you will really see a lot of effects in that, and you will have a lot less deaths if you're not just always building glass cannon. Obviously you can go glass cannon when you're snowballing, but I think that in an even game state, or when you are behind, the best way to play Veigar is to try and scale for the late game and try and turtle as much as possible, because you're going to be able to carry very hard with your really strong team fighting kit. Now, a couple different examples. Just go over some items that you can go into. If you're struggling a lot and they have a very AP heavy team with a couple of divers, this can be very good. Abyssal Mask. Abyssal Mask used to be so much better with Veigar before they reduced the range, but if you're seeing a lot of divers on you, it still can be effective, and it does provide cooldown reduction, health, mana, magic resist, which is great, and then you're getting a lot of AP from your passive anyways, so Abyssal Mask can be a great way to just kind of live through the early game. Banshee's Veil is great again against very high impact ults that just need to be stopped, or really a pick heavy team with a lot of hooks or a lot of stuns. This can be a great way to try and live out the early game. And then of course things like Zed, Zhonya's is going to be a great pickup on Veigar. So really he has so much strength in certain parts of the game. You just need to reach that part of the game and use these particular items to reach that game state. If you want me to expand more on those items, or give you tips particular to your OPGG or your particular summoner name, I can give you an OPGG review. Just make sure to comment down in the comments down below. Alright, and let's just jump right into that last Veigar tip that I think is really important for a lot of Veigar players that don't really understand the effectiveness of their E in early game, or in lower elos. Now, when you're getting chased down, which happens quite a lot because you are Veigar and you are quite squishy, your E is really your only defensive tool outside of just outright bursting them out and scaring them away. So you really need to get used to the E timing and how long it takes for it to pop up. And when you're getting chased, you don't want to put the E right on top of yourself with you in the middle, okay? That is going to give them the most amount of uptime on you. The best way to do an E is slightly around 2 steps ahead of you, like maybe around right here, and when they're trying to get in and auto attack you, they have to go straight through it. They're not going to get the full time of walking with an extra step. Really try and get on the edge of your E as soon as possible, so your placement is going to be really important. You don't want to place the E too far just right on top of you, because they're going to have some time to step out. So try and lead them a little bit with the E, and try and do it about, I would say, around here. You will get a feel for it the more you do it. But I would say just get super used to throwing. Even go into practice tool like I am right now, and get used to the timing of how long it takes for your E walls to come up. And I think you will benefit so much from doing this, and you will be able to get so many more catches, and you will give up so many less deaths because you are peeling them off you in a lot more of an effective way. That will wrap up my 5 tips. If you guys have any feedback or critique for me, please comment down below. And also, I would love to hear if you have any cool tips on Veigar. I'm sure there are a bunch I'm not aware of, so let's kind of help each other. Let's help teach each other. That's what this channel is about, just an educational channel where we're all trying to climb together. If you enjoyed the content, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm nearing that 1K mark, which is freaking awesome. And thank you so much for the support, guys. And with my previous video where I'm having you guys vote for the next guide I make at the end of tonight's stream at 6:30 Pacific time, I'm going to announce the winner, and I am going to start grinding on that champion. It looks like I think Katarina is in the lead right now, which is going to be a tough guide for me because I am not the biggest assassin player. I love my control mages and I love my bruisers, so that will be interesting. And as always, guys, take it easy.